The average solo GP is dead. Being handcuffed to a practice that only makes money while you're drilling crushes your freedom. Being trapped at the office is no way to experience life. And doing more fillings and crowns ain't the answer to freedom. Stop it. Freedom comes when your practice makes money without you. Freedom is choosing how many days and how you dental. Ready to forge your freedom? Then keep listening to become a super GP and super CEO. This is the Titanium Practice Podcast with your host, Dr. Stephen Freeman. Let's go.
Hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome to what is sure to be the best episode of the Titanium Practice Podcast. I'm your host and personal freedom coach, Dr. Stephen Freeman. So, I am fired up today. And Ronald Reagan once said, trust but verify. And I am the biggest fan. I'm the biggest fan of delegation. I love it. It creates time. But man, will your employees fuck up from time to time. I mean, my father-in-law just called and said he broke a tooth and he needed to get it fixed. I'm going out of town soon, so I have one of the associates do it. And so I talk to the associate, make sure he's cool doing it. Good, he is. Great. So I hang up with him and I call my office. Well, apparently my office instituted one of those like, hey, push this number for billing, this number for, treatment plan coordinator, whatever the options were. And apparently the numbering was so confusing and there were so many options, I didn't even know which one to hit. I had no idea. I'm the owner of the business and I had no idea which option I was supposed to hit. And it blew my mind. It blew my mind. I'm angry at them. I'm angry at myself right now. And I want to go kiss my father-in-law for breaking that tooth because I would have never called and found out that they had done this. But the ordering of it was so asinine. I mean, they literally couldn't have done a worse job. It's like it literally trying to sabotage the business with how bad of a job they did. Don't let this stop you from delegating. And I'm trying to remind myself that right now. Well, you just get that feeling like, fuck it, I'll do it all. I'll do it all. I don't need anybody else to do it. and so I'm trying to take a deep breath. I mean, I got off the phone about 15 or 20 minutes ago and I said, I gotta go talk about this. And so I'm just trying to calm myself down and realize that you are going to have to live with those mistakes. You are just never going to have this system that you can oversee everything and then also be able to have freedom. So there's a couple lessons here. There's a couple of lessons here about things that you can take from it of you're going to have to delegate. And some of you are control freaks out there. And I am actually not a control freak. I think there's a right way to do things, but I am not a control freak. I delegate the hell out of things. I have always been do it pretty darn well. I knew what I needed to get an A in school. I needed to get a 90%. Well, if you shoot for a 90%, you're not going to get it. You're going to fall short of it. So I always shot for a 92% because I knew to get an A, I needed 90%. What good was it to do to get an A+? That's how I felt. I'm in there to get the grade. I'm in there to get an A. The kid that got 100% got the exact same grade as the kid that gets a 90%. So yeah, you can make arguments about, you can learn more and blah, 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 blah. If I know 90% of stuff out there, I'm going to be pretty darn smart. I'm gonna be really freaking smart if I know 90% of stuff out there. So I've never ever been striving for perfection. I've been striving for really good. And you're gonna get a whole lot more done if you can accept pretty darn good and not perfection. And if you delegate, the bar's gonna drop even lower. And so you have to live with that. And so I'm reminding myself right now in real time that I've got to tell myself that in order for me to be able to be gone from that office, that I always say doesn't need me, you need to be able to come back around and check on things. And so it just so happens that last night was the State of the Union address. And so I'm going to say to you, what is the state of your union right now? And I'm talking about the little things. I'm not talking about KPIs. I'm not talking about how many new patients you have, profit and loss. When is the last time you did some of the little things? When's the last time you called your office? I'm a schmuck. Hand raised right now. I'm a schmuck. I have not called my office in a long time. Fortunately, after I frickin' laid into as many people as I could about this in the last 15 minutes, I found out we really only been doing it for about a month and a half. But I know it's cost me an enormous amount of money. Because if I call and I don't know what to hit, what happens when a new patient calls? Or a patient, I had to hang up and call back to figure out what the hell to do. And I had to call and figure out what to do. If you've got a new patient, click and they're going on to the next office. Oh my God. I mean, it's somewhere between tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars that has been lost because of this. And your employees will never understand that. They'll never know it and they'll never care. They can't wrap their brain around that. And so it's like if I came in guns a-blazing, so like I went to the top people and said, this cannot happen again. Because if you go to the person, because my top people delegated this. But I'm a big fan of when you delegate of the 10-80-10 principle. Tell the person what it is. So you need to start it. You need to start this concept and idea. And so that's the first 10% of it. And then you're going to hand it off to another person. And they're going to do the grunt work, the 80% of stuff that needs to get done in order for this to happen. Like there was a message that needed to be recorded. And there was the numbers themselves had to be programmed into the phone system to actually make this happen. And then it had to be turned on. And so there's stuff like that had to be done. So someone high up in my corporation said, go do this thing. The person did the thing, but then they didn't do the final 10%. I don't know, maybe they did the final 10% of making sure it was okay, and they just totally, shit the bed. That is exactly what just happened. And didn't think about how unpatient friendly this was. I love hyperbole, and I use the term disaster when something goes bad. This was a friggin' disaster. It's so bad. It's so bad. So when you delegate, you come up with the idea and you cultivate it and you do the first 10% and you outline the idea. Outline it real fast. Here are my general thoughts about what needs to be done. You hand it off to someone and they fill in the blanks. Give it to the details person. They come back and they give it to you and say, here is what I've done, and you need to make sure that you like it. That is how you delegate. So somewhere along the way, that ball got dropped. Okay, so there you go. There's a huge titanium nugget for you today. That is how you delegate. Okay? That way, you don't need to be doing the work. Things are getting done. and you just need to check it, really. Come up with the idea and check it. All right? Or tell them to go back to the drawing board. Say, that sucked. What you just did, no good. Do it again. Then check it again. So again, what is the state of your union right now? When's the last time you called your office and listened to how people answer the phone? So again, there's a whole other podcast on answering the phones. But when's the last time you've done that? Did you do it one time? Did you train the people and then you got new people and they never really got trained, or you delegated that training to someone who kind of understood it before? And it's like that game of phone tag. You know, you speak into the phone, you know, you say one thing and it gets to the end, and by the time it gets to the other end, it's totally different than what was said at the beginning. That's what happens. So you need to go back and recalibrate sometimes. Go back and find out what is it that they're doing now. Because I guarantee you it is not what they were doing a year ago. It's not. People get lazy. People are lazy. They are. And they're getting lazier too. So that speed at which that's going to deteriorate is speeding up. So what may have been a really good phone answer a year ago is now less good now. To what percentage, I don't know, but they're not as good at it. You would think they'd get better because of repetition. No, they're getting worse. So when's the last time you called your office? Call from a friend's phone. You know, if you're afraid of like them checking caller ID and all that stuff, call from a friend's phone. So you know. Have somebody else call. Or are you listening? When's the last time, like we have Weave. That's what we use. All of our calls, inbound, outbound, recorded. I would strongly recommend Weave because I don't have a phone service. It's all over the internet. It's all over the internet, so all of our calls are recorded, so I can just listen to them. So I don't even have to, but I've got someone who's listening to the calls, but I didn't, even at that, you have to call, you don't have that options number thing when they call in. It's like when they start talking is when it gets recorded. But at least that's a way to listen. But but if I hadn't called the office, I wouldn't have known they were doing this. But I do have someone who listens to the phone calls. So she's another person that I just laid into about how in the hell did this happen? So when's the last time you called your office? Another one, when's the last time you walked through your front door? What does your waiting room look like right now? Is it clean? Does it look nice? Are there stains on the furniture? Again, I've talked about it before of like, people don't know what a clean dental office is supposed to look like. They sure as hell know what a clean living room or a clean bathroom is supposed to look like. So, like, they know what a chair is supposed to look like. Is this a chair I feel comfortable sitting down into? So something I did not long ago is I actually did walk through my front door, thank God, because there was a couch cushion that had a big stain on it. Well, in my infinite genius, I had purchased, it was a slipcover couch, and so I bought another one a long time ago, so we put the fresh one on and then washed the dirty one, and guess what? The dirty one is now clean. But no one wanted to tell anybody about that or do anything about that. So, like, that looked better. It looked better because now it's clean and people are willing to sit on it, which makes a lot more sense. So I walk in and I see that. They had also done this thing where so we used to have this coffee bar, and it's still structurally there at the very front of our entrance. And we got rid of the coffee bar at COVID. But they had, and it drives me nuts because I've been asked somebody to fix it and they're eventually going to fix it. But we had the coffee bar, the lights there are on motion sensors because the county made it that way. I mean, again, I love government. Everywhere there are motion sensor lights in our office so that they turn off when people aren't moving. Everywhere in my office they put them are in the last places I would do it. The last place I would do it. And then everywhere that I would have put them is where they are not. It's great. It is government in action. I mean, just the most inefficient people out there making these stupid decisions. I love it. So up to do something with the coffee bar, someone decided to put a picture of all of our associates on this thing and then light candles. And it used to never be a problem because the motion sensor lights were over the coffee. It was the whole thing. I mean, it was set it up like Starbucks. So it's this big area of like when you go up to order at Starbucks. So it's this big old area spread out, and it didn't matter because when we had the barista there making coffee, she's always moving around making coffee, and people are going up to the counter, so it senses the motion, and the lights were always on. Well, I had to go fix that because it's dark there now unless someone walks back there, because there's still a kitchenette back there where I used to keep the cream and all the other crap that they put into the coffee. And so the employees will occasionally walk back there, but when I walk up to it, it's dark. It's dark, but they've got the pictures of our associates with candles lit next to them, and the candles smell good. It looks like you're at a funeral home. It looked like, I was like, who did this? Who? And like, great. Now it looked like all of our associates had died. Just, you know, it's just like, it is very true. You need to follow up on your delegation. You do. I'm the biggest fan of delegation. I am lazy. When I talk about people being lazy, I am lazy. I don't want to do the work. I pay people to do the work. I hire people that I trust to do the work. They screw up sometimes. They do, and they don't screw up most of the time. But there are just fundamental things they do. Like they don't look at that and they're just like, it looks like a funeral home. And so I went to the person who did this and I said, look at this. What is it? They're like, oh, you know, it's great. We get to show the patients, you know, what all the associates look like. And, you know, there's like however many pictures there are out there, like 10 pictures or whatever up on this funeral parlor counter. And I was like, it looks like a funeral home. It looks like all these people have died and you've like lit a candle in memory to them. And she looked up at me and she's just like, oh my God, you're totally right. I'm like, yeah. So we took it down and we got the light sensor replaced so that the lights were always on there. So it's still lit, even though, you know, we kind of left the pictures, but removed the candles and then lit it. And then it didn't look like a funeral home anymore. Because I kind of like the idea of them actually being able to see the associates. Apparently people said they had been looking at the picture, so I left the picture. So part of the idea was good. But that was I didn't have to do the first 10. They did the 80, so I guess they did 90% of the work. And I eventually got around to doing the final 10%. And I said, no, fix that. Fix the light, take away the candles, leave the pictures. Great, awesome. Now we roll. There you go, done. I mean, like eventually I'm going to have to just rebuild that entire area because we're not going to go back to doing that. It was cool when we did it, and and it was a form of internal advertising. Like how cool, and so like I called it the Lagniappe Lounge, and one of my other podcasts is about Lagniappe. The idea of giving a little something extra. You could go in and we offered free coffee. We had free coffee Mondays. Come in, not even if you're a patient. It was on the sign out front. Free coffee Mondays. Come in and get a free coffee. I mean, how much did that cost? What? You know? So I had to pay the barista, but the actual like coffee to get a patient was it $1 with all the fixings in it? The cost to me? Come on, simple. And I know not all of you have but I built that into the space. And I know not all of you have a practice that big, and that's fine. And that may not be for you, and that's fine. I don't care. The point is, I mean, that's easy money. We got so many patients from that. It was great. I now that I'm saying it out loud, I probably should go back to doing it. But it's like, but if I don't, then I need to rebuild the space because now it just looks odd having this like basically closed down coffee bar at the front of the entrance. But when's the last time you walked through your front door? Okay, I saw the stain, and another time I saw the pictures make it look like a funeral home. And walk around your office. What do the various operatories look like? You probably go into your operatories regularly. I never do. I almost never am in them, but when I go in, it blows my mind the stuff that they'll put in there. I allow them. Again, this is where you need to go back and check on them for things of like, you can have some personal effects in there. But sometimes they take this thing and they just run with it. And they're just like, oh, I'm going to put a tchotchke on every square surface of this. No. That's, in my opinion, no. I mean, you can have a little bit. I'm okay with them expressing their personality. I think that's good for them. I think a number of times patients will comment on some of the stuff. But you know, that you need to pull that back sometimes. How does your staff look? Do y'all have a uniform? Are they coming clean, like clean hair and not wet hair? I mean, wet hair looks like you didn't give a shit. Like, I didn't have time for this. The thing that pays my bills, I didn't have time for that. I hate wet hair, and they know that. They don't come with wet hair. What about their shoes? Are they clean? They got mud all over them? Is it the same ones they go to the amusement park or the beach or whatever at? Clean shoes. Do they look clean? Are they taking care of themselves? Are they taking care of how the office looks? Again, going back to how does it smell? This is all stuff about case acceptance. All of this is about case acceptance and retention. If you look professional, people are going to buy more from you. And yes, I said buy from you. You are selling. None of this BS about education. Yes, you're educating them so they buy from you. Don't be a pansy about it. You're in business. You want to make money, and you're not doing things unethical. You're trying to get people to buy from you. Get them to buy from you. So all of this is in that process. People being clean, you know, your room's looking nice, your front entrance looking nice, and just that whole process that you go through. And again, so like when you think about State of the Union, it doesn't have to be about just your office. What about your State of the Union? Yourself. Are you taking care of yourself? What are you putting into your body? How much are you exercising? I love to have drinks with my friends. Love it. Friday and Saturday night, look out. Okay? But I exercise on top of it. I know I should quit the drinking. That part's tough for me. Okay? I have fun. Have fun doing it. You should have fun in life. So you have to weigh those things. It doesn't all have to be all good or all bad or whatever. So you got to weigh those things. But at the same time, you can't do all just bad things. Okay? There needs to be some balance in there. So, like, again, think about what you're putting into your body. Are you exercising? Are you getting up and going and exercising so that you get it done and out of the way? Are you making your bed the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Make your bed so you've accomplished something. Accomplish something. You wake up, you make your bed, and go work out. And yeah, you have to wake up earlier. But I've talked before about going where other people won't. Other people won't wake up early in the morning. They don't. They hate it. And it sucks sometimes. It sucks. It does. But I love it. I love being up. I love not being distracted by other people, and I can go and get stuff done. When you're awake, when other people are awake, people need things from you. When you're driving to the gym, it takes an extra 5 minutes to get there, or 10 minutes because now there's more people on the road. Or some jackass just cut you off and now you're angry about if there's fewer people on the road, it's just a nicer way to start the morning. It's little things like that. But now if you get up early, you're going where other people won't. But that's not the point of this podcast, so I'll get back on track. The point is figure out where you are. What is the state of the union of your marriage? When's the last time you went on a date? When's the last time you got your significant other a little something extra, right? Just to say hi. Thanks for all you do. Like I know, like sometimes there's these push presents when a spouse or your wife, you know, has a kid. Like, here you go. Here's something for having the kids. When's the last time you said thanks for having my kids? Shit. Think about that. Your kids came from that woman. Maybe every once in a while you just say thanks. But what's the state of your relationship? Hopefully it's good. If it's not, you need to pick up the pace. Start with you. It's not going to get better if you're going to wait for that other person. Needs to start with you. Okay? You need to be doing better things. Okay? You need to be doing the occasional nice thing. And it doesn't have to be a present. When's the last time you made dinner? When's the last time you went and did the grocery shopping? Or shit, just have it delivered. Come on, just get your Amazon or Walmart app or Kroger app and shows up at the door. Now you don't have to go grocery shopping. My welcome. You know? Little things like that. Damn. It's just little, small hinges swing big doors. I keep saying it because it's true. It's very, very true. So what's the state of the union of your marriage? Work on it. Do the little things. You'll see gigantic results from doing that. What's the state of the union with, the relationship with your kids? Again, invest in your kids. Time, that's what they want. Even when they say they don't, they know. You can't love your kids too much. You can't spend too much time with your kids. Even when they say they don't want that, they need it. They need it. They need it. So again, and there's just think about the other relationships in your life, your office manager, your team, all those things. All of those things. So please think about those things, all right? All right, enough rambling on. I gotta go kick some asses about this whole phone thing and figure it out and get that fixed yesterday. But we love having you listen. If you want some more help, head on over to titaniumpractice.com. Download our free book, Forging Your Freedom, if you haven't done so already. And if there's anything I can do, anything at all that I can do for you, please drop me a line, info@titaniumpractice.com. I'll get back to you. We got some coaching over at titaniumpractice.com if you want to join up for that. But I am dedicated to your freedom, so please let me know if there's something I can do to help you out. I've had a very rewarding career. I love helping people, and I believe in helping people and creating win-wins as best we possibly can, all right? Until next time, I appreciate you guys all listening. We'll talk to you later, all right? Bye.
You've been listening to the Titanium Practice Podcast with your host, Dr. Stephen Freeman. Please hit the like and subscribe button and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Titanium Practice. Questions or comments? Send an email to info@titaniumpractice.com. Join us next time to help turn your average practice into a titanium practice.